Ah.
out, I find an empty your class, so I book it.
Yeah, right. You
Mm.
could. It's a good thing you could book
Ye-
quickly.
yes.
Okay.
Mm.
So, shall we continue with you talking about your resume?
Yes, and I send your email and
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
self-introduction
Ah,
document. Uh-huh.
self-introduction.
Introduction. Yes, self-introduction.
I couldn't check it actually.
Yes, and yes, now, yes, now you can check it.
Okay. Hold on, please.
Yeah, sure.
Mm, so when you are in Korea,
Mm-hmm.
when you submit your resume,
Mm-hmm.
does it always have a self-introduction?
Um, Actually, and not resume. What is it?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of letter?
Application letter.
Application letter? No.
Mm-hmm. No?
Mm, yes. Resume,
Mm.
resume. Yes, but I think actually I apply in Korean company, so little bit and different and formal resume. Um, mm-hmm. Bit different.
Ah.
Yes, and actually in Korean company wanted to and self introduction like that, but
Mm-hmm.
foreigner company wanted to and just the resume, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Yes, so
Mm.
um, yeah, a little bit different way.
It's definitely more difficult, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this all right. So let me just go over
Mm-hmm.
your self-introduction. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, this has been submitted already.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As
Yes.
an individual with a team-oriented attitude and enthusiasm, I was excited. Do you want us to? I think the sentences are quite good enough.
Yes, good enough.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So
I'm positive I can help with your organization's upcoming challenges. Right. So do you just want me to ask you some questions about your introduction?
yes, yes, you are interviewer, so ask me and some question.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Let me just go over all the things here, okay?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Mm. Um, as a team of
Mm-hmm.
instructors organizing instructional programs, general administrations. Mhm. Mm. Okay. So, since, of course, this is an introduction, you focused more on experience and the things that you learned from those experiences. Okay. So, I want to ask you this question, Jenny.
Yes.
Um, hmm, where is that? A fast-paced work environment. Uh-huh. Okay. So, while working as, let me see, uh, when you were in a management position
Yes.
in Wonju City,
Mm-hmm.
can you tell me some problems that you encountered and how did you solve it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one day, and my coworker, and who and ballet teacher, and quit a job and without notice. So and the company wanted um, to me and um, their work. So, but I haven't ever um, uh, learn or teach it a thought and about ballet, but I learned and um, I want, but I wanted to try and hardly so. And after 1 week, and I can teach it and students and about ballet subject. Mm-hmm.
All right. So when answering that kind of question, Jenny,
Yes.
first you start with the description.
Mm-hmm.
Description. What was the problem? And after explaining what the problem is, you should also talk about what you did.
Mm-hmm.
hmm And after explaining what you did, talk about the result or the outcome.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the outcome is also very important. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yes.
right.
Uh-huh.
So what was the outcome, Jenny?
Outcome is sort of how can I sort of write the problem?
hmm
Just how can I say? Uh, just I learned and um, went to a ballet school, so I learned and about ballet. So after 1 week, I can teach my students.
Oh, only after 1 week.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Mm.
Can you still dance ballet?
Not dance, just an basic, and
Ah,
yeah, one, two,
basic.
three, four, like dance.
Hmm.
Yes.
All right then. Okay. So, how about this? In some parts of your introduction, you mentioned that you had to sell your academy because of partly because of marriage, right?
Partly because of marriage,
hmm
partly because of marriage.
Partly because you had to get married.
Yes, I have to get married, so I can
hmm
stay more in Wonju city.
hmm
I must move to and the other city, so I can't stay more. Yes, I
hmm
can continue. I can continue learn. I can continue learn on my own business, my school, music school.
hmm Okay, yes. So, how about now? Of course, you will have to be assigned, you will have to be deployed in another country, right?
Deployed.
You will have to work in
Yes,
another country.
yes.
hmm So, how do you think you can handle it,
Hmm.
even as a married woman?
I think, oh, important question. Yes, I think um, married woman is very feel more comfortable because and um, she stayed she can stay with their family. So I think it is not um, weakness. It is an good. It is a strength for me.
hmm Okay. So, it's not going to be a disadvantage.
Um,
Instead, it
mhm.
is your strength. You can use it as your strength, right?
But it is my environment. I feel more comfortable. But actually, my strength is um, 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 my strength is my strength is um, actually I prepared it, but I can, I my strength is I have a responsibility. Uh-huh. So um, and I'm a fast learner, so I'm always ready to learn new things. Uh-huh. So
hmm
mhm, I can
Mm,
work, adapt quickly.
right.
Yes.
So that's a very important thing to mention in your answer,
Mm-hmm.
being able to adapt quickly, right?
Adapt quickly. Yes.
Okay. So I mean, when you work in another country,
Mm-hmm.
how much time would you be willing to stay there without going home to Korea?
How? Sorry.
How,
How?
uh,
Uh-huh.
how
How?
much time
Uh-huh.
are
Ah.
you willing to spend working there
Uh-huh.
without going back home to Korea?
Actually, I don't have. Before I stayed in the other country, um, I don't. I didn't feel any homesick, so I can. I can good a long time stay in the other
Hmm.
country. It is not problem to
Mm.
me.
I think you're really adventurous.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And right, you mentioned that you graduated with a double major in piano and mass communication.
Yes.
All right. So, how do you think would that your education be helpful in
Mm-hmm.
your work as a coordinator? How can your major be helpful?
Ah. Mm. Um. um, um, I learned the piano, so I can teaching very well the other person. So I think education is a very important part in international cooperation. So my extensive experience in many fields um, is so helpful for coordinator position.
Okay, I totally understand. Well, how about this, Jenny? Um, you had to work in Mongolia
Yes,
for about 3 years?
yes,
2 years.
about yeah, exactly 2 years, about 3 years, right?
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Okay. So, when you stayed in Mongolia,
Hmm.
did you also have to learn the people's language?
Sure, I can speak in Mongolia.
Wow.
Senbeno.
Oh, what does that mean?
Hi, hi.
Ah, okay. So, aside from English, Korean, and Mongolian, what other languages can you speak?
um, I can I can speak in English very well. Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
mhm. So
Right.
how did you
Ah.
ask me? Oh,
Ah,
sorry.
I mean, aside from Korean, of course you can speak English.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So, aside from
Ah,
Korean, English,
yes.
and
I
Mongolian,
understand. Uh-huh. Mongolian and little
right?
bit in Russian.
Ah, a little bit of Russian.
Yes. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Um,
interesting.
yes, and because when I was on college students, and
Mm-hmm.
I went to an Russian for studying piano, and so I learned in Russian
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
1 years, 1 year
Ah,
for one
1
year,
year.
yeah, for 1 year.
Hmm. Okay. So, does it mean you also lived in Russia before?
Russia, Russia before what?
Have you ever volunteered in Russia
No, no, no,
before?
no, no. Just studying in piano,
Ah,
college
piano.
studying piano. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Okay. So, as a volunteer for, I don't know, not as a volunteer, as a volunteer coordinator for KOIKA,
Yes.
what can you contribute to the organization?
Um, mm, um, um, if given the opportunity to be coordinator,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to encourage volunteer to organize more activity, such as Korean song and competition, performance competitions with Korean traditional musical instrument.
Yes, and that's one of the advantages
Hmm.
of your major. right?
Oh,
Specializing in your major.
um, yes, but
Mhm.
actually, frankly, I think my major is not related to any coordinator positions.
Right, but that's one thing that you can contribute, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can continue training some volunteers,
Yes.
and that would be very helpful because the volunteers, in return, can also use what they learn from you
Mm-hmm.
during their volunteer work, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So uh, I'm not so sure about my question,
Mm-hmm.
but
But it is
there's
possible. It is enough possible questions. I think
yes,
yes.
uh, there's not a big amount of money that you can get from this job.
No, no,
So,
much money.
how much money?
Yeah. Because
ah,
volunteering is not much so poor volunteering position, but
uh-huh,
coordinator is much more.
a bunch of money.
So I heard and some interviewer asked them, and oh, just do you want to money? So do you want to apply this position? Just right
Yes.
directly ask them.
So how would you answer? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you will be able to make a big amount of money if you become a coordinator. So, is it just money that you want?
I prepared the answer.
Oh,
Actually, before my previous job is make a money, enough to me. But my long-term goal is and um, want to work in incorporated incorporate in international cooperation. So um, actually now I don't I doesn't matter and money my salary about my salary.
mhm,
Just I wanted to and develop my ability.
mhm. Mm. Well, you sounded sincere about it.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I was trying to focus on your voice and your facial expression,
Hmm.
and I think you were convincing.
Maybe this answer is very sincere. 아유,
Oh.
아유.
The answer is very sincere, right?
Thank you.
Well, that's the most important thing. But since the first time I had a practice with you,
Mhm.
I could feel that you really really want this position.
Oh, it is so important thing, right? Oh, thank you so
Yes,
much.
right. So
Mhm.
sometimes, some interviewers
Mm,
would choose somebody who is more sincere with his
yes,
words,
yes,
right?
and about education, right? Attitude.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. So,
Thank you.
good luck. When is the interview, Jenny?
This week, last weekend, I met
ah.
corner deadline.
It is just around the corner, so
Yeah, wow.
no. You should be excited. And another important thing, just relax. And if we get the chance, we'll continue with the practice. Okay?
If I meet your class in this weekend,
Uh huh.
maybe I can good and to your interview.
Yeah,
I will try.
we can still meet.
Mhm.
Okay,
Anyway.
then, Jenny. So
Okay.
continue preparing yourself, and
Mhm.
I'll see you again soon. Okay?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Bye
You're
bye.
welcome. Bye, Jenny.